Okay, hey guys, NMOS Reviews here. This is going to be a review for Trinity 7, Chapter 63. Man, it has been a long time. I just checked the last video I made on this, and it was in March this year, so it's now July. It's like 4 months since the last chapter. But yeah, so basically this chapter, though, is pretty interesting. Mainly just Arta's group has entered the Dante's Gate. Almost called it Dante's Inferno. Nah, it's just this is Dante's Gate though. So yeah, we kind of get like a explanation of how this is gonna work, and it is that and so yeah, the way it works is there are like 9 levels, 9 different hills basically that they're gonna have to go through, is how they made it sound anyway. And so it's kind of just like this is just the test for Arta and the gang. Like this isn't even the final stage basically. This is just a test to see if they're able to go there. Like to fight the true Magic King is basically what they say. And we learn that Ilya has sisters this chapter. And the chapter is called Inferno Whirl and Fragments Girl. And so like at the little what you call it for all of the next 3 chapters from this one till 66. So yeah, there's 63, which is the current one, Inferno Whirl and Fragments Girl. 64 is called 12 Demons and Deadly Point. 65 is called Mill Bulge and Prisoner Girl. And then 66 is called Full Burst and Waterside. And so yeah, this chapter 63 is kind of just getting here basically. So starts off, we see like lightning everywhere, and we see this girl who we haven't met before. It's like in this lake, I guess, and she was like taking a bath or something, and she's singing a song, which is in a language, and then the translator or the translation for it says, "Sing, goddess of the anger of Achilles, son of Peleus." This translator note, opening line of the Iliad. Yeah. And so yeah, the girl like looks up at the sky and says, "Big sister's coming back with this." And so yeah, then you get the chapter title called Inferno World and Fragments Girl, and the little cover thing is of Iron in a library reading a bunch of books. And so yeah, then we get into the actual chapter. We see Arta and gang have arrived at the Dante's Gate, and then like Arta puts his hand on the door and it's like, yeah, no idea what this says, and this says relinquish omnem spem vosque intritus. And so yeah, Arta's just like, no idea what this says. And then you have little laughing, and Mira says, it seems the words on Hell's Gate are written in Latin. It says, abandon all hope, you who enter here. And so yes, they're just like, abandon all hope, huh? And then Sora says, it's gonna open soon, everybody ready for this? And see everybody's like smiling, or not really smiling, but they're like serious. And so the gate, or the eclipse happens, the gate opens, and looks like an inferno comes out of it. And Mira's just like, what? What filthy magic? And so you have Akino telling, not Akino, Akio telling Selena to stay behind them. And then you see this, like, army pretty much. And Lilith says, alright, something's coming out. And Yui's like, a lot of them. Arta says, yeah, looks like it. And then the thing it shows is like a bunch of kind of like, look like monsters, kind of like goblins and stuff. Goblins and things of that nature. And so, yeah, Arta's like, a welcome, huh? A warm welcome, huh? Because you have like basically an army, and then so Arta starts like issuing orders saying, Yui, we're counting on you for support. Yui says, got you, big brother. And then he says, Akio and I will cut through. Lilith and Mira will provide cover fire. They say, got it, understood. And so, yeah, then Arta's just like, let's go, Akio. And it's like, yeah. And so Yui, I guess, got a new magic, says Fury Combat March. And then Selena's like, whoa, this is. And Sora says she's increasing our magic power using Arc Symphony, probably. And then you have Ilya saying it looks like she's doing it to direct our spells and magic through spatial vibrations, countless sounds. This is like, wow. And then you have someone says Sha. And so Akio says conception, and then you have like Arta slashing with Judeka and Akio kicking forward. And then Arta saying, Mira, you get the huge one, Lilith takes. Yeah. Mira, you get the huge one, Lilith take the ones in the sky. I'm gonna dust the ones that look like the chief. Or looks like the chief. And then they say understood. And so you just see them like tearing through these guys pretty much. With relative ease. And so, yeah, Selena's like, wow, Arta's son gave such cool directions. And then Sora saying, haha, our master underwent battle training diligently with the saint. Ilya says, I predict he could even fight against the demon commanders of Dante's Gate. And then, yeah, Arta defeats the commander of this kind of hellish looking army, or like kind of, I guess, they're weird. They're kind of like an army, but they're soldiers, and then you see like a bunch of, or an old man mixed in there, so maybe, I don't really know what to make of it. It's kind of like spirits, I guess. And then they just like turn into little orbs and disappear. And so, yeah, Akio says, the enemies disappeared, and yeah. And so Arta says, they're pretty convenient if they vanish when the boss gets beaten. And then, yeah, Akio says, true, well, it's a warm-up. And Arta's like, yeah. Anyway, good work, Judeka, you can relax too. And Judeka says, yes, releasing battle mode. And then they hear someone say, this is the power of the Magic King that Big Sister brought here. And it's the girl from the first couple pages that was in the lake taking a bath. And so Arta's like, huh, a tiny Ilya? And so Ilya says, Octo. Or Octo, one of those two. And so Octo says, Sister Trace, or Trace, something like that. So she's talking to Ilya and says, so Octo says, I apologize for testing your candidate with my magic. And so Yui's asking like what that means. And Lilith says it's 3 in Greek, then Octo must be 8. And so Ilya says, yes, I'm the written 3rd chapter of the Ilias fragment, and this girl is my little sister, the written 8th chapter. And so Ilya says, but why are you inside Dante's Gate? And so she says, that's. And so Arta says, there's got to be some reason. Well, nice to meet you, Ilya's little sis. I'm Arta Kusaga. Or Kasuga. And then you see her like looking at him, and then she looks down and says, I'm the one who summoned the demon army that attacked you just now. And so Arta's like, yeah, looks like it. And so Ilya tells her, haha, Octo, Artisan's not someone who minds such things, you know. And then Mira, talking about how they met Ilya, says, true, I haven't forgotten what you did to him and me. And then Ilya's like, that was a maiden's act of love, so. And then Octo says, like, with this, like, kind of happier aura kind of thing behind her, where it's, like, all bubbly looking, she says, "The master that big sister loves." And so, yeah. Artist says, "So, Octo, what do you think of my strength after testing it?" And she's like, "You pass. I judge that you have at least the power to survive in Dante's Gate." And then you see Arto with this kind of smug look, and he's like, "Great, that's the important thing." And then Ilya says, "Anyway, Octo, why are you here? Where are the other sisters?" And Octo looks kind of sad and says, "That's..." And so Octus continues, "Big Sister Triss and Big Sister's Master, won't you please rescue my other sisters somehow?" And so, yeah. They look at you see Ilya and Arta look at each other, and then they go into the gate, I guess. And this is where we get an explanation of how the gate works, because where they are is this, like, um, kind of foresty, mountain-looking area. And so, Octo is explaining and says, "Since you already know that the world of Dante's Gate is large, you know that it's a hell stretching across 9 circles." And you have this kind of, like a visual image of it that looks kind of like a cone. And so, yeah, Octo says, "This place is the world that contains Dante's Gate, so it's the entrance to every circle of hell. It's called the Library of the Underworld, Acheron." And then Artis says, how do we get there? But the part before that where Octo's still talking, and says, "You and your companions are aiming for the castle of the true Magic King, that's in the 9th circle." So yeah, Artis says, "So how do we get there?" Then Octo says, Octo says, "Right, there's a great river which you can use to travel through all the hellish worlds. It's unknown how to go down to the deepest layer, but there's no other way to pass through the dimensions." And so, she says, "Oh, you're saying," or they say, "Oh, it's like, you're saying it's like riding a boat." And Octo says, "No, just by jumping into the great river, you'll follow it to any world." And so Art is like, "Is that how it is? I should have trained in swimming too." And then Ilya is just like, "What's wrong?" Art is like, "Ilya, what's wrong? Gotta pee?" And so Ilya is like, "That's not it." And so she says, "Are you done explaining, Octo?" And then it says, "I'm about to go." Octo says she's about to go over each of the features and noteworthy landmarks of all the hells Big Sister Trace. Like, this is like a kind of, tour of the hells, is what she's making it sound like. So yeah, Ilya says, "You don't have to list all that." And so then Ilya is like, "More importantly, hey, about our sisters." And then, Octo says, "Oh, that. They've all been sealed in the various hells." And so Ilya's like, "Sealed? How did something like that? Besides, where's Mother? No, where's Master?" And then, bad, sad news. Octo says Master was killed. And then you have Ilya just kind of like, "What?" kind of face. And then, Octo says it was about 300 days ago. Radix Astel appeared before a master, murdered her, and sealed the other sisters in a crystal. And then, see Ilya drop down on her knees and says, "Everyone, even the Witch of Witches, was no match for her." And then you have Sora making a kind of like a thinking kind of face. And, Mira says, "Witch of Witches." And Akio says, "A legendary human said to be a monstrous witch who had knowledge of every kind of spell." And, this Ilya says, "Yes, because she gathered us Ilias fragments that we manifested in this world, or in the world." And so Arda says, but why Ilia's sister? And then Octo starts to say that. And then you see like the dark aura appear, like with lightning all over it, and Radix appears. And yeah, it's funny because Mira says, speak of her and she will appear kind of thing. And so Radix starts saying, like, she's here now and says, I've kept you waiting. Former Magic King candidate of the Trinity 7. Arda says, yeah, I got stronger and came here to Dante's gate. And so Sora says, Mom, what are you trying to do stealing Ilia's sisters? And then asks Radix, actually, says, as a copy of me, you should know, Sora. And then, yeah, it says, to test Master. And then, Radix says, exactly so. I will have him wander all of the hells and gather all the sealed Ilias fragments. If he can do this much, I must acknowledge him. And then there's a funny wording that happens. So yeah, in the next like 2 pages. Sarda says, you're checking my strength just for that Ilias master. And then Radix says it was necessary. And then Ilias like, how could? And then Arda gets mad and says, the true Magic King gives that kind of order too. Naturally, and Radix says, naturally I hold no free will, only my master's perspective. And you see this like aura kind of stuff form around Arda, and he's like, is that right? And then apparently he dominates the entire place. Or, yes. So Radix says, you dominated the magic in this place. And then all of a sudden you see Radix get stripped, because Arda's like, in that case, or she says in that case, and then Arda just like looks at her, and then like all this lightning appears and she gets stripped. And then there's this page with the funny thing. So yeah, Sora says Arda is saying you won't complain about seeing it firsthand, right? And yeah, Radix says Sora my copy. Sora's like, and yeah, Radix says, I hope your master will defeat my owner's 12 elite commanders, the Malbranch, something like that. Take possession of all the Ilias fragments and come to the ninth circle. And then Sora says, ha, look forward to being dominated by my master, Mom. Just sounds so wrong. And then Radix is like, then I will be waiting, Magic King candidate in Trinity 7. And then Radix leaves. And then, yeah, Judecca says, situation settled, stabilizing Master's magic power. And Arda's like, oh, sorry about that, Judecca. And then everybody's kind of like scared now, because Lilith's like, Arda. Yuri is like hugging Lilith, and she's just like, sorry everybody, did I scare you? And then Mira's like, no, your impure power has risen yet again, hasn't it? And so Sora says, this is inside Dante's gate, but you sure can get it done, Master. And Arda's like, yeah, I'll definitely save Ilia's sisters. And so yeah, Ilia's like, Arda's on, and then you have Mira and Lilith looking at each other. And Akio has this puzzled kind of, more kind of like puzzled / troubled kind of look, and she's like staring at Arda. And Yui asks her what's up, and so Akio says, no, bro's state feels different, huh? Yui says, does it? Yui can only see the usual big brother. And then Akio just seems kind of like, okay then. And she says, well, it's good if I'm just worried for nothing. And then says, but if maybe he himself doesn't realize he's changed, next time might really be a problem. And that's chapters, so yeah, it was really good. I'm really hoping that it's not going to be like another 5-month break in between them though. But yeah, great chapter. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all next time. And be sure to let me know what you thought in the comments.